Selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling Sacramento, buying the block back. Selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling Sacramento, buying the block back. Selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling Sacramento, buying the block back. Selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling slack, selling Sacramento, buying the block back.
Agent Key, is selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, she's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Agent Key, is selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, she's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hey everyone, it is Wednesday and we are Selling Sacramento. Just a reminder that Selling Sacramento is brought to you by Matthews & Company Realty Group, where I, Agent Key, am broker and owner with almost 20 years in the industry, and I love helping people buy, sell, and retain real estate. So if you have a home to sell, if you're ready to have the conversation and map out a plan towards home ownership, visit agentkey.com, agentkee.com, and schedule your free consultation. On that website, you can email me, chat with me, set up the consultation, or start and LinkedIn. Just search Selling Sacramento Agent Key on your favorite platform and join the conversation. Let me know that you're there by typing in the chat, saying hi, ask a question, or join in the conversation with your feedback. Today's show is Life Transitions, Building, Growing, and Thriving Through Change. And that is in keeping with our segment, our year-long Build, Grow, Thrive segment. And I want to share a personal testimony with you that I've been going through. And I actually shared this publicly already on Facebook. So I'm puzzle ever since I turned 40. And when I say I'm sharing, being transparent, I am. When I first discovered that I was premenopausal, I literally thought that I was dying. I contacted the administrator of our church and I was in tears. And I said, I have to get my affairs in order because I'm dying. I had always lived a life up until then where I never caught a cold, was not unhealthy, had energy from on high, and just never experienced any illnesses or sicknesses. And at that point, and I didn't know what it was, but all of a sudden I had these hot flashes and chills, and I developed bumps on my legs that were like breakout bumps, and what do you call it? The headaches, the severe headaches, migraines. Migraines so powerful that while I would be driving down the road and it would take my eyesight out. Everything would go white. I would see nothing but stars and I had to pull over. I thought AIDS had caught up with me. You know how they were saying at one point, sometimes AIDS just sits in you for a long time and then it wakes up, 14 years later. I thought I was dying. There were no conversations about premenopause in the circles that I was in the arena, with the people, the community that I was in. Nothing to suggest that that was what was happening and that I probably just needed to go to the doctor, get it assessed, start figuring out what my triggers were, so on and so forth. So I share that to say that I've been premenopausal since I was 40, figured it out, but now I'm 51. And just a few short years ago, I built up awesome momentum spiritually, physically, and emotionally in a direction in my life that I was super excited about. Everything was going great. But then this year, the change hit me like a brick wall. So you're going through premenopause, and women listening who are in this season of life, you understand where I'm going with this, or you understand what I'm talking about. Some of you who are going through, who will recognize some of the symptoms and may not know it is menopause or menopause, that is what it is. And it's all fixable. When I say it hit me like a brick wall, what premenopause is doing is it's changing everything about you, as far as your ability to reproduce and stopping the cycles and all of those things, changing your metabolism. My metabolism slowed down so far this year. That was the brick wall that I hit. That it's the change that we undergo when we reach a certain season in our lives, and it's very real. It can be a huge disruption as it messes with us, not only our metabolism, which sends our bodies out of whack, but also our chemistry, which also sends our minds in the same wonky direction. And then overnight, I saw someone in the mirror who I didn't intend on becoming. Physically, my clothes no longer fit the way that they should. It crept in. I began doing everything I could to try to fix it, everything I could think of: keto dieting, intermittent fasting. Now, one day I'm going to be a vegan. That didn't work. So, lifting weights, everything. Nothing worked. As a matter of fact, I gained 10 more pounds. but God. And here is why I say but God. Early one morning, about a month ago, I had been feeling the tug. God never leaves us, first of all. We stray from him. He never leaves us. But about a month ago, I started to feel a serious tug. Just like when you have a child and the adult and the child and the adult are walking along and the child kind of starts straying away and doing their own thing. And what does the parent say? Get back over here. And that's exactly what happened. He said, come closer. You're getting too far away from me. But this time he pulled me in way, way close. So close that I got a bird's eye view of the problem areas of my life that were requiring immediate attention. And the words he spoke to me that I heard him say with such clarity in my heart, you have been coasting all your life, and it's time. I didn't need any interpretation. I knew exactly what that meant. Strangely, I knew exactly what it meant. I'm so grateful and thankful to know my life has purpose. There are a lot of people who lose hope because they don't know that their life has purpose. But knowing that my life has purpose has kept me during times of doubt. And I'm blessed to know and believe and work in all of my gifts and talents. And I'm thankful that I know what I'm capable of. It gives me confidence that carries me above storms. And I don't say that to gloat. I don't say that to brag, because here comes the con. Because at the same time, as a result, guess who's my number one enemy? You know how you hear people say, oh, people doubted me. They told me I would never make it. They told me I don't ever hear that. I don't ever hear it. As a matter of fact, I'm careful about what I say, because when I say things, people expect it to happen. So guess who is my number one enemy? I am my biggest threat. It's like being born into an extremely wealthy family with access and privileges. You don't have to do too much to reap the benefits, right? Sometimes they just fall on you and you just get by. But at some point, if you want to inherit the dynasty, and if you want to take your rightful place in building the legacy, you got to start doing the work. God said, it's time for you to start doing the work. So I know who I am. I know whose I am. I know what I've been called to do. And I know that I have to become someone that I've never been before. I can't look back on the past, because that person in the past is incapable of accomplishing what I've been called to do. She only got me this far. She got me to coast level, just coasting. My past accomplishments, I can't look back at what I did in the past, because they are just that. They're the past. Those are the ships that have brought me to where I am today. And now it's time to cut the sails and burn those ships. Burn the ships so that there's no room for retreat, because victory is ahead. And it's time. It's time to build, grow, and thrive. And with that, that brings us to our segment today. We're diving into this subject that we all know, but it sometimes might not be the thing we want to hear and we're not fully prepared for, and that is life's inevitable changes. It's in our nature to experience life in chapters where every end leads to a new beginning. And as we journey through life, these shifts, big or small, they mold us into the individuals we become. And we've all been there. Remember the first time you rode a bike without training wheels? That was a small but significant transition. Or maybe it's when you shifted from high school to college, or went from single to being married. Every step was new, and it came with a mix of excitement, fear, and an array of emotions. But here's a crucial point. Not all transitions feel the same. Just as we celebrate milestones like weddings or the birth of a child, we also face challenges. The loss of a loved one, loss of a job, global pandemic, all of those can shake us at our core. The beauty of these moments, both positive and challenging, lie in their significance because each transition acts like a stepping stone. It's about our perspective. The joyful moments are easy, right? Because they lift our spirits, they give us cherished memories. The tough times, though, give us wisdom, strength, even though we don't realize it immediately. Those tough times will test us and grow us the most, depending on our perspective. I was watching a segment called The Crushing, and I'm about to mess up somebody's faith right now because it was TD Jakes. Y'all are missing out on opportunities to grow when you isolate yourself from things that don't line up with where you think you need to be. I was watching this Crushing, and TD Jakes made a comment. He said, in all of the things that he had done and accomplished and celebrated, all of the books he has published, he can only celebrate them in retrospect because as they were happening, there were other things going on that were so hard and so consuming. He couldn't even enjoy the things that people were seeing publicly. As they're building a church building, his mama was dying. Picture life like a river, right? The water, the flow of the water represents our lives in constant motion. And sometimes the river is calm and it reflects the serene phases of our lives. And at other moments, it rushes in with intensity. And that's turbulent times. And these ebbs and flow and transitions are inevitable. Why are some of these transitions thrilling while others are distressing? Why do we eagerly await some changes, like Christmas morning, or the anticipation of college, and dread others, like confronting the void that's left in our lives when a loved one dies? And it all boils down to our perception of the positive versus challenging transitions. The positive ones are associated with growth and excitement and opportunity. On the other hand, challenging transitions, they are unanticipated and even unwanted. They force us out of our comfort zones without our consent. We did not give that challenge permission to be here today. But even in challenging moments, there is a hidden opportunity for growth and self-reflection. No transition is purely black or white. Even within challenging moments, there can be a silver lining. And the key is to approach every transition, whether it's welcome or not, as a chance to learn, adapt, and grow. So as we continue our discussion today, I invite you to reflect on your own life and the transitions that are happening right now. I invite you to embrace them and learn from them. And remember, every change, big or small, is a step forward on this journey of life. We're scratching just the surface. We all face them, and how we navigate them can make all the difference. Stick around. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into how we build and lay a strong foundation during these changing times. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key, and we will be right back.
financial coaching. Sometimes when people The Financial Empowerment Center, also known as the FEC, is a public service offered by the City of Sacramento through which local residents can receive professional, personalized one-on-one financial coaching. Sometimes when people think of a free service, we might think of it as low quality, but we're really the opposite of that. We strive to be super high quality in everything that we do at our work. I tend to be hesitant about talking about financial issues. It's something that, in our culture is not always acceptable to talk about, but just know that this is a safe space at the FEC.
So as a financial coach, my role is to be a guide. It's to equip my clients, to give them the tools and the resources, helping them with savings, with access to safe and affordable banking, increasing and improving credit, them meet those goals.
Anytime that you are partnering with somebody to meet your goals, it's very empowering because you have that extra person to motivate you. After the program, I feel more empowered to make better financial decisions and budget more effectively. My credit has shot up tremendously. I feel very great about the future. I'm almost ready to buy a home. I'm actually looking right now.
We offer services in both English and Spanish, and we also offer interpretation services in many other languages as well.
Bueno, mi experiencia, puedo decir que fue muy bien, fue genial porque aprendí mucho y me ayudó como a abrir los ojos en realidad en los gastos que hacíamos. Necesitaba aprender más acerca de las cuentas de ahorros para los niños y el poder ahorrar un poquito para lo del colegio. Entonces antes pues ganábamos sin necesitarlo y ahora como más consciente en lo que en verdad necesito y a lo que quiero. Bueno, pues vamos a comprar una casa.
This work of the FEC is really personally meaningful to me because I grew up with really excellent parents, but they struggled with money, and so I saw really firsthand the kind of struggles that creates, the stress, and that kind of stress is something that really affects people's physical health, their mental health. To reach their goals, that's really personally satisfying for me.
For someone who's considering the program, my advice to you would be to just sign up and go for it. There's nothing to lose. You have everything to gain, which is financial responsibility, financial empowerment. You have a group of supportive counselors here to help you and nurture you along the way.
If you're interested in working with a financial empowerment coach, we would love to support you. So please give us a call at 916-808-4927 or email us at fec@cityofsacramento.org.
Hey everyone, we are back. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key, and we are talking about life's transitions, building, growing, and thriving through change. We're going to dive into how we can truly build during these times of change. I want you to consider a cornerstone idea. The only constant in life is change. Dosty said death. Once you die, ain't nothing moving after that. The only thing constant that's moving is change. Life is changing. And while life can be challenging, it's also an opportunity. It's an opportunity to rebuild, reimagine, and renew. But let's be honest. Navigating through change isn't always a solo expedition. Think about moments in your life when a friend's ear or a family words or a counselor's guidance made all the difference. Seeking support is not a sign of weakness. It's a mark of wisdom. And while we're talking about how to get through change, patience isn't just a virtue, it is our compass. Just as a seed needs time to grow into a full-fledged plant, our transitions need patience. They need time to unfold and time to teach us and time for us to adapt. We live in a really microwave culture. As we see social media, everybody wants to be an Instagram star. Overnight, people become specialists in areas that they've never taken any time to experience any hurt, pain, growth. They just all of a sudden become a specialist. But if we think about what it really requires in order to have a testimony, you've got to be put through a test. Consider the challenging transition of divorce. Divorce is very hard. I've never been married, never experienced divorce, but I've seen people go through it. And it's a chapter in some people's lives that comes with heavy emotions and questions and a sense of loss sometimes. The memories that you shared, the plans that you made, the dreams that you dreamed together. When you acknowledge all of that, the weight of it, it's so heavy. Divorce can feel like a storm. But let's think about storms. After every storm, there's what? There's the calm. And it's crucial during these times that you seek support, whether it's from loved ones, professional counselors, or support groups, because they offer understanding and a perspective or just a shoulder to lean on. So it's imperative to find that circle. It's imperative to be intentional about reaching out for that support. Oftentimes, we don't want to share what's happening, especially in this society that we live in now, because when you live your life on social media, everyone else's life looks so amazing. But my biggest healing has come from me being transparent about the toughest things that I was going through with a circle of people who I could trust and who I knew loved me. My biggest healing came from sharing and being vulnerable about the things that I was going through and having that circle of people. As we talk about endings, let's also talk about beginnings, like marriage. That's when two hearts are united, two souls, two individuals with their own dreams, aspirations, and habits, right? Marriage is a blend of all of that. The thought of companionship and the delight of building a life together. There are challenges there too. That's when the art of compromise and the understanding of differences and the dance of balancing me with we comes into play. One of the essential aspects of ensuring a harmonious marriage lies in planning together. I've had my share of transactions where a boyfriend and a girlfriend want to buy a home together, but they are not married. And can I tell you, that is probably the biggest mistake that you could ever make. Because if you don't have a legal commitment when you buy a property together, and God forbid that thing go left, but the stats show that it's probably going to go left before it stays right, you have a very difficult time unraveling from that property. Whether it's financial goals, family planning, or just deciding on the next holiday destination, when two people plan together, they not only shape their future, but they also strengthen their bond. And planning goes beyond logical or logistical aspects. It involves open communication, understanding each other's priorities, and sometimes making sacrifices. But these sacrifices and adjustments, they aren't about losing, they're about building something greater together. And why do I say that? Oftentimes and culturally, we are taught that if I sacrifice or compromise, I'm giving up me. And I'm not, you got to take me as I am. And if you can't take me as I am, then you can't have me. And we wonder why there are so many people single and unmarried. When you're not willing to change, I mean, think about it. Everything that is created outside of human beings had to make compromises to grow. The trees that we see don't exist. The seed had to cooperate with the soil and the water. That tree would not be standing, providing us with oxygen, had it decided this, I'm a seed. I don't need that water. I don't need that funky soil. I'm getting a little bit off. Well, no, not really. I'm just trying to paint the picture to make it very plain. It is difficult to get through this world and this life without other people. It is a challenge. We need each other, not only as husbands and wives, but family, son, daughter, mother, father, and community, neighbors. We need each other. Of ourselves and allow ourselves to make connections. Let's build something together. Marriage teaches that love is about embracing our partner's strengths and being compassionate towards their flaws, celebrating the joys together and holding hands through the challenges. I highly admire those couples who are transparent in their marriages. Been together 5 years, 10 years, 20, 50, 60. Those strong marriages, when the challenges come, they survive the challenges because their goal is never to give up. Their goal is to get to the other side together. And so then that means that they're open to whatever it takes to make that happen. You can't get to a 5-year marriage or a 10-year marriage or a 20-year marriage if you're only looking out for you. In divorce and marriage, the core lessons are that these transitions are a part of life. Whether we're starting a new or closing a chapter, how we approach these transitions, how we seek support, and how we exercise patience defines our experience. As you think about your life's changes, remember to be kind to yourself. Remember to be kind to yourself. Have mercy on yourself. Every day you wake up is another opportunity to begin again. Embrace new beginnings and learn from your challenges, and always, always keep moving forward. In this journey we call life, every end is always a new beginning. So I want you to reflect on your transitions. These opportunities, whether it's building a new life after a setback or growing amidst new beginnings, we all have the power to shape our destinies. We're going to take a break, a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to explore these themes when we return. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key, and we'll be right back.
Center, also known as the FEC. The Financial Empowerment Center, also known as the FEC, is a public service offered by the City of Sacramento through which local residents can receive professional, personalized one-on-one financial coaching. Sometimes when people think of a free service, we might think of it as low quality, but we're really the opposite of that. We strive to be super high quality in everything that we do at our work. I know people tend to be hesitant about talking about financial issues. It's something that, in our culture is not always acceptable to talk about, but just know that this is a safe space at the FVC.
So as a financial coach, my role is to be a guide. It's to equip my clients, to give them the tools and the resources, helping them with savings, with access to safe and affordable banking, increasing and improving their credit, reducing their debt, to build on the knowledge they already have, to help them meet those goals.
Anytime that you are partnering with somebody to meet your goals, it's very empowering because you have a person to motivate you. After the program, I feel more empowered to make better financial decisions and budget more effectively. My credit has shot up tremendously. I feel very great about the future. I'm almost ready to buy a home. I'm actually looking right now.
We offer services in both English and Spanish, and we also offer interpretation services in many other languages as well.
Bueno, mi experiencia, puedo decir que fue muy bien. Fue genial porque aprendí mucho y la verdad me ayudó como a abrir los ojos en realidad en los gastos que hacíamos y también necesitaba aprender más acerca de las cuentas de ahorros para los niños y el poder ahorrar un poquito para lo del colegio. Entonces antes pues gastábamos sin necesitarlo y ahora me hace como más consciente en lo que en verdad necesito y a lo que quiero. Bueno, pues ahora tengo esperanza en que pronto llegaremos a comprar una casa.
This work of the FEC is really personally meaningful to me because I grew up with really excellent parents, but they did struggle with money, and so I saw really firsthand the kind of struggles that creates, the stress. And that kind of stress is something that really affects people's physical health, their mental health. So to now be able to do work to help other folks both avoid crisis and also reach their goals, that's really personally satisfying for me.
For someone who's considering the program, my advice to you would be to just sign up and go for it. There's nothing to lose. You have everything to gain, which is financial responsibility and financial empowerment. You have a group of supportive counselors here to help you and nurture you along the way.
If you're interested in working with a financial empowerment coach, we would love to support you. So please give us a call at 916-808-4927 or email us at fec@cityofsacramento.org.
Welcome, everyone. We are back. Wayne Wilson, watching online and YouTube, says, growing things change and changing things grow. And you are absolutely right, Wayne. Absolutely right. We are shifting our focus to how we not only survive, but truly thrive during times of transition. So it's clear that adapting isn't just a survival skill, it's essential for thriving. What do I mean by that? When we find ourselves in a challenging situation, the first thing that we want to do is assess how we feel. What are our emotions doing? It's at that moment that you are either going to fall into a pattern of how you deal with your challenges, how you've always dealt with them, or you make a decision that you're going to thrive and survive and grow through this challenge. You have to be intentional about stopping in the moment, assessing your emotions, and making a decision that whatever is happening right now, first of all, it's not going to last forever. And when it is over, the decision that you want to make is that you want to win. You want to get the victory. You want to come out stronger. You want to come out positive. You want to come out successful. So however you've been dealing with your circumstances before, and especially if it's something where it just keeps popping up, financial situations, you get to the end of the month, you don't have any money, that relationship with that child, every time you talk to them, you keep having the same kind of argument. The same thing goes with the spouse. They keep doing this and you keep doing that, and it's just a vicious cycle. Or the person that wants to, they are doing stuff in their life and they're piling their mess on you because they can't manage their life well, so they reach out to you. However, you continue to enable them. How do you get through that? How do you overcome that? You make the decision to see it differently, to handle it differently. The emotions, handle those emotions differently. Adapt differently. Just like a tree that bends with the wind, we too have to learn to sway and adjust. Personal growth. So if we are having these emotional outbursts, I'm going to just use an example, just something very simple. Instead of having an emotional outburst, make a decision, just a little decision, that you won't say anything at all. Just in that moment, make a decision to not say anything at all, and in your mind, see yourself successfully walking away. So you can't just not say anything and say, I'm going to be the bigger person in your mind, because that's not going to last. It's not about you being the bigger person. It's about that moment being able to organically get better without you injecting a behavior that puts you in a pattern of repeating what you always got. If you're tired of getting what you always got, you gotta start making some different choices in the moment when life is coming at you. Life does not come with a manual. But if we looked at continuous learning as our guidebook, with every lesson, every mistake, every success, we're adding a page to our manual, teaching us to navigate better. You've got victories. You've got past victories in your life that you can reference that will tell you how to do better, how to grow, how to be better, how to strengthen your moral compass. You've got past victories that you can look at and say, hey, this is what I did with that situation. Let me try those principles here. The beauty about learning is that it's not just confined to the classrooms. It's in the world all around us. The experiences we undergo, the stories that we hear, all of these are avenues of learning. There are folks who have done what you've done, who have victories that you can go and seek them out and see exactly how did they overcome. Nothing new under the sun. So let's talk about some practical strategies for navigating these various scenarios. How about journaling? For those of you who love to write and read, it's not just about documenting your days, but reflecting on them. How did a certain event make you feel? What did it teach you? Just the simple act of writing things down offers clarity and can be a therapeutic outlet. How many of you already journal? Maybe you journaled in the past and you've stopped. That's an area where you once had victory, that gave you victory, that strengthened you in that area. Get back to it. What about a support group? Building a support group doesn't mean a formal group, doesn't have to be. It can just be family, friends, or peers. Be intentional about surrounding yourself with positive people. Be intentional about surrounding yourself with people who don't gossip, with people who are not selfish. Remember, if somebody is gossiping to you about someone, they're also gossiping to someone else about you. You don't need that in your life. You don't want that in your life. You want friends, family, or peers who are going to share and listen, a circle that you can trust and that you can mutually guide each other through changes. And speaking of guidance, don't shy away from professional help. I'm so glad to see that we are starting to make therapy and counseling, we're normalizing that. It's so necessary, especially in our communities. Whether it's a therapist or a life coach, financial advisors, they all offer insights that are tailored and customized to help you navigate specific challenges. Don't be ashamed to reach out. And then your physical well-being. How much you weigh. Contrary to popular cultural belief, being overweight is not healthy. It is not. We see these singers and actors and, big girls matter type stuff. There's nothing healthy about being overweight. There is not longevity does not live in being overweight. And being overweight is not you are not caring properly for the temple, the one temple that you have in this life. If you are overweight, the very first thing that you want to do is watch what you're putting in your mouth. What are you doing? What are you eating? You can stop it. It's a challenge that I'm having. I can't eat as much as I used to eat. I can't sit down to 3 meals a day eating like a king 3 times a day. If I want to take good care of my temple, I had to change what I'm taking in. If we really want to get to the square root of it, the heart of it, biblically, we should be eating nothing but vegetables and fish. That's where those folks seem to get the greatest strength biblically for their minds and body and energy and the ability to run on. I challenge you to ask the Lord. Ask your creator, what do you want me to eat? What's going to be the best way to get the most out of this temple? And be prepared for the answer, because it's probably not going to look like what you're doing. Your physical well-being is linked to your mental and emotional resilience. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and sufficient sleep, they're not just health mandates, they are your armor against the unpredictable things that life brings your way. Now since we're talking about God and you got to talk to the Lord, and I said, talk to your creator. What about meditation? Mindful meditation. Anchor yourself in the present moment. Understand your emotions without judgment and ground yourself amidst the chaos every single day. Every morning. My regular wake-up time is around 4 a.m. I didn't get there overnight. In my early 20s, I was getting up at 8, ish. In my 30s, I made a decision that I'm going to get up at 7-ish. And then in my 40s, I said, oh, shoot, successful people get up before everybody else does, and even the sun. And more importantly, they get up with God. You have that moment where it's just you and Him. And y'all are talking about your goals and your plans, and you're sharing. But more importantly, you're listening. This morning, I did something I hadn't done in a long time. I ran 5 miles. And I didn't run like, I'm trying to be in the Olympics or something. Just a nice, what would you call it? Gallop? Yeah. Gallop run? Yeah, just a little stride, But I did it as I was listening to motivational information that was helping set my mind right so that I couldn't tell myself, you're not going to do this. They just kept telling in my ear, you can do it. This is what changes. This is what your future looks like. You have control, blah, 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 blah. When I got more than halfway through, I turned it all off and ran the rest without listening to anything except waiting to hear from, you guessed it, the Lord. And there is scientific evidence that shows if you just take a walk, a mile a day, just a quiet walk, you're going to get so much clarity. It just comes to you. There's something magical and powerful and spiritual about moving and walking and running and being mindful, clearing your head. For those of you who are looking for resources, there's an abundance of resources out there. Websites, podcasts, webinars, workshops. It's endless. Identify the needs that you have. Be honest with yourself about where you have gone wrong. Tell yourself, I've been lying about who I am, about what I have, and what I've accomplished. Tell yourself the truth about where you are and seek the assistance that you need to gain the knowledge you need so that you can move forward. So we're going to dive into some specific scenarios and getting this help. Someone out there listening right now is navigating a career change. For those of you navigating a career change, networking events, online courses, and mentorships can be game changers. Go to the California Chamber of Commerce website. There's a small business conference happening this month. You probably want to be there. Insert yourself there. The networking that's going to happen there, you never know what small move you make, different from what you've been doing before, that might jettison you into a new future. If you're facing a personal challenge, support groups, counseling, and self-help books can also be comfort and guidance. What if you're going through life's major changes, like a decision where you need to relocate? Research extensively. Connect with those who've been through similar experiences and plan meticulously. Sean Carter says, TY4, thank you for sharing. It's encouraging. My pleasure, Sean. Good to see you too. When you're relocating, I often hear people in real estate, especially, y'all are trying to get out of California and go to Texas or Georgia. I encourage you to speak with people who have moved to the area in which you are attempting to relocate and ask them, tell them why you're moving out there so that they can help you assess if it's actually going to be a good move for you. One of the things to consider when you leave California is that you may not be able to afford to come back. If you have a home here that you sell and you move out to Georgia and you buy a home there, that money will not transfer over if you need to come back. So I encourage you, instead of selling your California home, rent it out while you test the waters in another state. I just use Georgia as an example, but that's with any state. If you own a home right here in California and you are considering leaving, your California money, you need to leave it in the pot. Do not take it out. Go test the water in another state first, rent, and after a year or two, if you see yourself doing well, then reconsider selling it. But maybe don't do it right away. Just a little bit of real estate advice. So it's okay to seek help and to lean on others and to continuously equip yourself. When we're adapting to change, it's not about forgetting the past or disregarding the present. It's about acknowledging where you've been, approaching where you are, and aspiring for where you wish to be. When we talk about losing a job, first you need to give yourself time to process. I give myself maybe 5 minutes when something happens that's upsetting or disruptive. I probably don't even give myself that much time, because as a man thinketh, or a woman, you become. So I don't meditate on disruption. But I do need to process it. I do need to acknowledge that it happened and then game plan on how to get through. What's the next step? Where do I focus? Where do I go from here? Once you process that you've lost the job, update your resume and tap into networks. Websites like Indeed and Glassdoor, local job agencies, and job searches on LinkedIn can be very helpful. Don't wallow. That's probably the biggest piece of advice. Do not wallow. Get moving. Keep moving forward. Moving to a new city. Again, research extensively about it before you move. Try to establish connections or join local online groups. Websites like Meetup or Facebook groups specific to that city can offer insight and connections. If you're facing a health challenge, seek expert advice and take the time to understand and research your condition. Do not rely on Google and the internet to assess your health challenge. The Mayo Clinic and WebMD, those are reliable sites, but don't neglect mental health. Apps like BetterHelp or TalkSpace can help you to connect with therapists. If you're navigating relationship issues, open communication is key. This is tough because when you are in a relationship with someone, especially if you've been intimate, once you've been intimate, it's harder to break away. If things get tough, consider couples counseling or therapy. Websites like Psychology Today can help you find therapists in your area. If you're having financial hardships, review your budget. We've been talking for 2 months now about creating a budget, prioritizing what's essential, and speak to a financial advisor. Sacramento Financial Empowerment Center. I cannot stress enough, Google them, Sacramento Financial Empowerment Center. Their services are free to everyone in the city of Sacramento. Other apps like Mint, budgeting apps, they can help you, while sites like NerdWallet offer financial tips. Make a decision to get it right. Then if you're starting a new business, do your research. Again, this month, California Black Chamber of Commerce is having its annual small business conference. Get there. Plug into the Small Business Association where you can get assistance with creating a robust business plan. Seek mentorship, the mentorship of someone who is where you want to be. Most people who are successful will take the time to talk to you if you just reach out, especially if you pursue them just zealously. They'll finally turn around and just say, okay, what do you need? What can I help you with? Then there's also SCORE, SCORE. Google them. They offer free mentorship for entrepreneurs. If you're coping with grief, the loss of a loved one, you have to allow yourself to mourn. How long it takes for you to mourn is how long it takes for you to mourn. Don't allow other people to tell you how much time you should mourn. I just saw, I think many people know that Dr. Tony Evans' wife of many, many decades passed away a few years ago. I just saw that he's getting ready to get remarried with the support of his children. How long it takes for you to recover from losing a loved one is how long it takes for you. Seek a support group or consider therapy. The Grief Recovery Method offers support groups, while books like The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion can offer solace as well. Here's one that is relative to me, going back to school as an adult. Research your field of interest and tap into professional networks and consider online courses for flexibility. You all know, if you've been listening to my show, that I'm taking a business course at City College online. In life, we all face challenges, but with the right strategies and resources, we can navigate them effectively. You are not alone. Tools and support are here and they're available, so always reach out and utilize them. That is my time. As we sign off, remember that every new chapter, regardless of the challenges, offers a chance for reinvention. Embrace the journey, seek support, and remember you're never alone in your experiences. Thank you for joining us. To those who've been with us online, keep the conversation alive on our social platforms. We'll be back next week with more insights brought to you by Matthews & Company Realty Group. Remember, today and together we are stronger, we are better informed, and more equipped to face any challenges. And until next time, wishing you strength, wellness, and love. And always remember, if you are doing what you were created to do, I will see you at the top.
Still calling. That's all I was reading.